the Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
92.1 City, Winnipeg's rock station. Good morning, Lincoln Park, somewhere I belong. It's Philly, it's Joe, it's Kirby, it's 6:09.
This is exactly where you belong because the AC/DC song of the day isn't that far away this morning. It's going to happen in the 7 o'clock hour, in the noon hour, and in the 7 p.m. hour. And the song you need to hear today is Jailbreak. 762-555. You text the word win and your name, and you could be the next finalist that wraps up on Friday. So,
Did you guys hear Travis Kelce getting asked about Zach Collaros?
yeah, he always puts them over, too. I mean, college roommates together. And I'll say one thing about Travis Kelce. He doesn't really smack talk any of his old buddies.
No.
And Collaros has been around for all the big games just almost as much as Taylor Swift.
Yeah, here it is. Here, I'll play it for you.
Yeah, the Bearcats, you Ruby. Zach, he's got you, man. He's got 5 straight championship games. You gonna catch him?
Zaccarelli, man, that's my guy right there, man. The big red great, Steubenville's finest right there. I got so much love for Zach. I've always been chasing his coattails. But as a college roommate with him, man, I just love everything he's been able to do up there in Canada, and obviously a brotherhood that will never be broken.
I was listening to Taylor Swift on the way to work today.
Wow.
Okay.
What a coincidence.
I have no idea what on earth that is.
Well, no, I just, I'm also a fan of the Kansas City Chiefs, and I'm a fan of
Big
Travis
fan.
Kelce. And
Huge.
listen,
They also have been being, Kelce and Mahomes specifically, I don't know if either of you have seen this on social media, several, because the Super Bowl is the jungle with media and air quotes, media, gather around, asking questions. Did you see the one guy bombing Mahomes with, who's your favorite ref? Do you ever get them presents for Christmas?
Yeah, there's always like you said, the jungle, especially opening day.
Super awkward. And then Kelce got it too about phantom calls and do you enjoy the officials helping you guys out? And
how did they respond?
Mahomes handled it really well.
Yeah.
I got to say, I'm not the biggest Mahomes fan, but he just, I've never gotten he what do you call that? No played it? What's the term for that? When
pretty much. No sold it.
He no sold it. No, I've never really gotten a ref a present. I don't have a favorite ref. We just play the game. So he acted like they were just normal questions, which is the way to handle it. Kelce, he was just like, next question. He was more surly about it than Mahomes.
Yeah, but that's always the Tuesday media scrum. You get these people that are trying to make names for themselves on social media. And
didn't somebody propose to Tom Brady one year? I seem to remember that. Again, air quote, reporter, somebody who was in there, a female reporter, proposed to Brady.
This will be an exciting game. I think it could be one of the best Super Bowls of all time, and the odds makers probably think so too. It's still a 1-point spread.
I learned about
1 point, Kirby.
Those odds makers, man, they know what they're doing. As a guy who gambles, I'll be like, oh, that spread's way off. And then it always winds up right around what they thought it would. Typically.
Kirby and I can't watch a game together. I've been saying it for weeks. I'm all on Philly this year. That was
oh, yeah.
And Kirby's on her favorite team, the Chiefs. So that's because Detroit's out.
I'm just going to keep listening to my Taylor Swift on the way to work, leading up to the Super Bowl on Sunday, and I feel like that's really going to help.
That's the analysis we are here for. We thank you very much.
For
yeah,
it?
And Joe, I got to give you flowers. You called the Eagles all year to be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I thought so with Saquon Barkley, and I'm going to ride his coattails too, like most Eagles fans. But I will say this:
don't make your pick yet.
No,
Sometimes you drop that pick on a Wednesday or Tuesday.
I'm sorry.
It's like, Joe, that's for Friday.
There's some great prop picks. I'm just going to let Kirby know that since you're such a Swiftie, there are categories of Swiftie prop bets.
Oh,
I haven't looked at them.
Let's do
Well, I don't know if I'm going to bet on it.
Let's do a whole bunch of prop bets.
For sure we'll look at props. But where Kirby and I are going to bond is with Kendrick Lamar at halftime, for sure.
I could care less about that.
Yeah, exactly. I just said that. We're going to bond.
Philly Joe Kirby.
Philly Joe and Kirby
Podcast.
The Philly Joe and Kirby Podcast.
Call the Bone phone. 780-BONE. Brought to you by Auto Gallery of Winnipeg.
Hey, it's the loud guy. Yeah, sick and tired of people tailgating me. The rule of thumb is if you can't see my mirrors, I can't see you. So today that rule played really good. So I'm going down a street 50 kilometers an hour. I need to make a right-hand turn. The street is a bit narrow. So when I went to make the turn, there was a car there, and I had to stop to let the guy out. Well, the guy behind me, which I didn't know he was there, who was extremely close to me because I couldn't see him in my mirrors, almost smashed into me. And then what does he do? He whips around me and blasts his horn for his own stupidity. What a loser.
Yeah, tailgating, man, you got to be careful, especially winter driving tailgating.
You know, I'd just like to encourage just a little exercise right now. We're just going to breathe in through our nose. I got to blow my nose clearly.
Yeah,
and then...
sounds like you got some boogers on the go. Joe, can you grab her some Kleenex?
I'm cold over here.
We've got some congestion in traffic and in that nose.
Does anybody have any Otriven? Snort it up there, Curbs.
Well, I just wanted to take a deep breath, okay? Sorry, I didn't expect it.
No, none of us did.
No, it's all right. Killed off the whole zen.
My kid uses a saline solution up there. You might
Really?
Yeah, he does. He gets
my God.
he gets clogged nose like Kirby, so he needs
Well, my nose is running because the AC unit in the studio is blasting right on me, okay? Like, what else do you want?
Sure. Okay, the Winnipeg Jets. Here's what I've observed. When you get a lot of talk about them when they're either playing really bad or playing really good.
Well, there hasn't been too many games that they've played really bad.
No.
The last one was the game in Utah. It was really the first time this season Coach Scott Arniel really gave it to them. And they've responded,
Since
I think,
then?
7 in a row since then, right, I believe?
Okay, well, this guy wants to give a shout-out. Like you're giving a shout-out to Coach Arniel and the team.
The team.
Yeah, this guy here, he wants shout-out Vinny for rallying the troops.
Hey there, this is Mr. T. Just want to give Vinny some credit for getting the team to play good 7 games in a row. Dr. Hockey is like amazing. Thanks, Vinny. Appreciate it.
Well, I mean, a lot of Jets listen to this program. They would hear Vinny's negativity. Maybe what he's saying is that fired them up.
He gave him some positive. He gave him his flowers, as Kirby would say, right? He gave him the flowers the last time he spoke.
Okay, back to this topic here of the Jets not getting enough respect.
Hey, good morning, T. Kona. Again, just calling back about the whole Edmonton and Toronto situation the other night. They get prime time, yada, yada, yada. So I wake up the next morning after the Jets and Washington's game. I'm going to watch the highlights. I figure, you know what, it should be top billing. Nope. The 2 top teams in the league clash for first place overall, but yet they good old TSN has to start off with Edmonton and Toronto. Yay. No respect for the Jets ever, man. You know, I just one day hope the Jets do win the cup and just shove it in everybody's face. Our little city, you know, that'd be so good, man. You know, like, stick it. Here's the cup. Stick it.
I think a lot of people are with you there, T. Kona.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this guy here, though, you get this opinion as well.
The fellow folks call it in whining that the Jets aren't getting any respect. I mean, what have they done to gain that respect? I mean, yeah, they're playing great this year. They've done this in the past. But year after year, they come out and just the bed in the playoffs. So maybe let's just not whine about respect right now until they actually do something in the playoffs.
You know, and ultimately, I don't mind flying under the radar. You don't want that giant, microscope that the Leafs play under, do you? You kind of want to go into the playoffs with, even though you might win the President's Trophy, you're still a little bit under the radar.
Yeah, this team, unfortunately, that's the chip on the shoulder, though, right? The skeptics out there are wondering what this team will do in the playoffs because we've had success in the regular season. Mm-hmm. This is a whole different team. The culture in that dressing room this year is different than even the success we had where we ran out of gas in Las Vegas a few years ago. Okay. You can tell.
Yeah.
This culture is completely different. Everybody's all in. There's guys playing for contracts this year. These guys are one unit. I wouldn't even be surprised if they don't make any changes going into the the break.
Don't mess with the chemistry.
Well, I think that's it.
Although I got one of my buddies wants them to, a couple of them.
Yes.
Get a little deeper on the back end.
That's what people have been talking about. I know we haven't heard from Dr. Hockey recently, but...
Curbs, what would you like to see them do?
I would like them to continue living their best lives.
I'm gonna go get you some Kleenex. Yeah.
The Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Philly Joe and Kirby's Entertainment Rundown.
All right, special day for me. You guys both know this is one of my favorite movies of all time. Back in 2010, it was released. A group of college students spend a weekend skiing and snowboarding. While they are traveling the mountain or up the mountain, the resort's chairlifts stop working, and they are led to fight for their survival. Terrifying scenario.
I mean, I would be terrified.
Well, they're there overnight on the chairlift. The one guy tries to jump off. There's wolves everywhere.
What was the name of that movie?
Frozen.
Of all things they could have gone with.
I know. Not to be mistaken
Disney.
with the other Frozen movie.
Let
Pixar
it go.
or Disney.
Let it go.
I think they should have called it Killer Chairlift.
Yeah.
Doesn't that
With a
sound
name
better?
like that could have sold
Killer
this.
Chairlift. Like that has a way better sounding ring to it.
I agree with you. That came out only 15 years ago,
Only 15 years ago. Great movie.
It lives in his mind.
I loved it. It was so scary.
Speaking of movies, I was telling you guys about this yesterday. This Stephen King movie is getting a lot of buzz. Blood, yes, because the trailer is so bloody and gory that they can't even run it on television, apparently. The movie comes to theaters on February 21st, and it's like based on a Stephen King short story. It's called The Monkey. And apparently it's getting a lot of buzz just due to how like scary it is. It's got, a few good Elijah Woods in it, Theo James.
Isn't that crazy, too, to this day? Like Stephen King, who's iconic and been around for so many years, his shorts are still, getting made. And here's the funny thing. Monkeys usually equal funny. This is terrifying.
Not so funny. Yeah.
Terrifying.
But you've seen Scary Monkeys before.
Yes.
Like, what is it? The one who bangs the drums?
That's exactly what this
is. The cymbals together or whatever.
The wind-up monkey.
Yeah.
That's like what this is based
scary.
on. Like, I guess like two brothers find this like monkey, and then all of a sudden these strange deaths start to occur like years later.
Strange monkey deaths. Well, you'll remember the movie Outbreak. The monkey spread Ebola virus.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
He didn't mean to. Like, he didn't realize.
Honestly, there are no good movies where what King Kong was a monkey.
Ape, gorilla.
Well, that's an ape.
Yeah.
Same.
Well, same thing.
Yeah. Well.
No, they can't be trusted.
Yeah, neither can you.
Neither can you with facts.
Listen, Fox is planning to launch a new subscription-based streaming service themselves by the end of this year. If you remember last year, there was a lot of talk about Disney, Warner Brothers, and Fox getting together and collaborating to put together one basically involving sports. Well, that didn't happen. I didn't even know this, but Fox already has Tubi. But now they're going to go with basically their own deal by the end of the year, and it will feature all, of course, existing content and the brands that Fox has been known for, but they're going to include sports and other content as well, like news and TV shows. So there'll be another big player coming streaming site-wise.
Oh, good. The more streaming services that I can pay for, the better.
I need more sports in my life, too.
Yeah, well, you for sure are going to be jumping on this, for sure.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Bring me to life, Evanescence, 92.1 City. It's Philly, Joe, and Kirby at 6:40. Great text message, Joe, on the Boston Pizza text line about a show, big show, just announced. Was it earlier this week?
Yeah. Finally, a good outdoor show this summer. Already grabbed Def Leppard tickets. Kirby mentioned yesterday that they were available to Moose, Jets, Bombers, and Valor FC season ticket holders. And that pre-sale, I think, continues today. We've got a chance for you to beat the box office. Also, the text went on to say on the Boston Pizza text line, let's push now for a good Canadian rock band to play the Grey Cup halftime show because, of course, that is happening here this year. Nickelback would be perfect, according to this text.
There's no shortage of bands you could pick from, but Nickelback's been, experiencing a resurgence, a comeback of sorts.
You have to believe, sorry, Curbs, that there's going to be some great Grey Cup parties happening. And I don't know what layers of Canadian acts we'll see during Grey Cup week, but that's another thing that could be added to this list. So if there's ever a suggestion, we do have a pipeline to people like Kevin Donnelly, who we'll have on the show Friday, by the way, that I'm sure they wouldn't mind a list from people. So Nickelback's definitely got to be on that list as far as the game itself.
Yeah.
But there's also going to be a lot of Grey Cup parties.
Sure.
It's funny, the other day, I got a random text from my mentee from Big Brothers Big Sisters, and they were like, if Nickelback comes to Winnipeg, I want to go. This was out of nowhere. I'm like, okay, I didn't know you were a Nickelback fan, but I mean, hey, it's and they're 19 years old. So you're just seeing I think with the documentary that came out a few years ago too, like the Hate to Love or whatever, Nickelback.
Right.
It's just a band that kicks ass.
Well, going back to, the Grey Cup and Canadian bands, what I've learned in watching, Super Bowls and being at concerts the last few years is nostalgia always wins, and songs you can sing along to, party bands, those win at Grey Cups and Super Bowls. So if you're talking Nickelback, everybody knows all the songs. They got a party atmosphere. Bryan Adams fits that bill. Give me an artist, a musician that everybody can get up and sing the songs to.
Well, they've been going that route of trying to get some exposure in the U.S. with that TV coverage and that kind of stuff as well, right? So they've been going a little bit more mainstream with their choices. So, yeah, Nickelback fits that. Bryan Adams fits that. I'll be interested to see what else they come up with for this city, because it's been a long time coming, this Grey Cup, and there's going to be a lot of parties. Don't be surprised if 92.1 City's not involved in a lot of it.
Oh, okay.
I'm just leaving it out there.
Just throwing that like a little nugget.
Yeah, I'd have no idea about bands like Nickelback and that, but I'm hearing stuff.
Well, let us know. We love the conversation. 762-555 Boston Pizza text line. I could fully support Nickelback halftime Grey Cup. And again, as Joe mentioned, 7:45 this morning with completely useless trivia, headlined by Def Leppard. Rockin' Thunder, Princess Auto Stadium. Win your tickets.
The Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
Would you rather, Curbs, have a work bestie who always talks about their bowel movements, or have a work bestie who was always trying to sell you drugs?
Oh, my God.
You got to try this, Kirby. It's so good.
I mean,
But I don't want to buy drugs. Doesn't matter. You're my work bestie. Or...
I sit on the board of Winnipeg Crime Stoppers. I would not be a good person to try to sell drugs to.
Well, believe it or not, there are people who work in, law enforcement who try drugs every now and then.
Oh, for sure. I don't want to hear about your bowel movements though. So sell me the drugs.
Or they're just trying to sell drugs, right? They're not actually selling them to you.
They every day have to talk about,
oh, man,
hey, you're not going to believe I got 3 for the price of 1.
That's right.
And then as opposed to, oh, you're not going to believe the dump I just took in the...
Which one are you picking, Curbs?
I took a picture of it. I'm going to take the drugs.
Well, I'm going to have to go with the bowel movements. I think it's an easier conversation where you can just break somebody's balls saying, I've heard enough for one day about your bowel movements.
Yeah.
Drugs are a little trickier.
And they're pushing them on you.
Yes.
Now it's like, okay.
I took the DARE program. Good luck.
Would you rather have to wear Zubaz pants and a weightlifting belt everywhere you go, or wear leather pants and a tank top everywhere you go? Now, this look for Kirby probably a little bit easier to pull off, the leather pants and the tank top.
Joe, who's wearing leather pants today?
Yeah.
Oh, you have leather pants on.
I got the leather pants on today,
there
buddy.
You go.
So this is easy,
buddy. And kind of a tank
top.
Not a tank,
well, it's
but
like off the
crop.
shoulder.
Is it a crop top? Is that what they're called?
What about you, Joe?
So you're gonna go with the leather pants and the tank top.
It fits me more better
than the weightlifting belt.
I've never worn leather pants in my life, but I have worn Zubaz because I grew up when they came out. The Road Warriors of wrestling fame came up with the Zubaz line of sweats.
For those who might not know, they're like a sweatpant, like zebra.
They had all kinds of designs, but that was the original. And I could do without the weightlifting belt, but if they go,
You just say you're on your way to the gym. You're on your way to the
Absolutely.
gym.
Well, that's the look it kind of gives. Yes.
You know, it's good for back support.
Yes, it is, Kirby.
Very true. Would you rather have someone you've been dating divulge that sometimes they turn into a werewolf or sometimes they turn into a fly?
Ooh.
Werewolf or fly?
Well, both would be shocking.
Yeah.
Hey, so you're not going to believe this, but sometimes I turn into a werewolf.
Full moon.
Or a fly. I don't know. Well, the werewolf, it would be, like, I already have pets. I deal with enough hair. I don't want
Cats
to
would
deal.
freak out, too.
It would be
Cats would
terrifying
freak
for the
out.
cats. You know? Not even just for me, for the cats. Also, too much hair going on. I'm going to go with the fly.
Fly, okay.
A little bit.
Go land in some poop somewhere. That's
Well,
what flies do.
Yeah, I mean, the werewolf look I pretty much have down already. So if I was with somebody and I took my shirt off, they'd probably be a believer. But I'll tell you what, I've never seen a fly end up on anything good, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want to do the fly thing. I'm going to go with the werewolf.
Werewolf for Joe. All right. We'll wrap up with this one. Would you rather, as a career in the 1700s, be a voyageur or a pirate?
Like a voyeur, like somebody, like a voyeur, like that somebody likes to watch.
That's
Kirby,
two different words.
You know what a voyageur is. Like a
You
fur
live
trader.
in St. Boniface.
Oh, like Festival de Voyageur. Okay.
Hold on.
Voyeur.
Hold on. What other kind of voyageur do you know
I
of?
got confused.
She wanted to be a
I thought it
voyeur.
was a category of something. Okay, anyways.
Wow.
So what was my other choice?
Voyageur or a pirate? Neither one. I don't think you're taking a ton of showers.
I'm going to take the pirate because then I can have
Traveling.
a parrot.
Oh, that's good. And you got the eye patch and the parrot. Yeah, okay.
As much as I respect voyageurs,
Yep.
because of course it's Canadian heritage, I still have to go with the pirate myself personally because they were always on bigger boats. I could not see myself trying to get into a canoe
Well, and then
or
portaging.
or portage.
Carrying that
Yeah,
boat.
I carry enough weight. I don't need that. So I'm going with the pirate.
This is the Philly Joe and Kirby podcast.
We're getting a lot of text messages about the Def Leppard show. Def Leppard, Joan Jett, Foreigner, and Took. Stadium show. The stadium show we've been craving. Tickets, win tickets in just say less than 10 minutes with completely useless trivia.
Well, they put up a post on our Facebook page and it exploded. That's how many people were excited to hear about this show.
I'm excited. You know what I'm excited for? A specific moment. I want to be right there in the field, beer in hand, singing along to I Love Rock and Roll.
Yeah.
Joan Jett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I mean,
It'll be a big sing along
Because that's
for
an
sure.
experience, like being right there in the moment as that song's playing with her on stage.
Have you ever seen them live?
Joan
I
Jett
have
and the
a couple of
Blackhearts?
times.
No, that's
Joan
why
Jett.
I'm pumped.
Yeah,
I've
they'll
seen
be
Joan
good.
Jett.
Yeah.
She's great.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Ugh.
And
Love it.
I think, and to piggyback on what you're saying, Kirby, my wife basically said the same thing yesterday when I told her about the show. She's like, I'll be singing along to every single song
Yeah.
from all those bands.
Yeah. Well, Foreigner's celebrating 50 years, okay? And they've been around a long time. I mean, they really exploded with, Jukebox Hero and Urgent, if you remember that album, of
Yeah.
course, right? So they'll be celebrating. And Took, I mean, if you've ever seen Took live, they are one of the best party bands going, and they all happen to be Canadian, and they live off of Canadian rock classics.
Yeah.
and then that Def Leppard catalog alone.
Oh, man, yeah.
And then when Wade Miller told us tickets are starting at around $60-ish all the way up, there's a VIP package available that I think, I don't know the exact price, but somebody was telling me I think it's close to like $300. I don't know what it includes, but nowadays to go to a concert with that many acts on it, that the pricing is quite reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Wednesday, July 9th.
Yeah. And win your tickets in just a few minutes here. Boston Pizza text line from Caitlin, because we were talking about in your news, you've got a story about a new water park coming to Transcona. Oh, no, like what's the deal?
Yeah, they're asking for public feedback on this new rec center that they're going to start building at the Transcona Boulevard in Plessis.
I live in Charleswood, but can I just throw in my 2 cents?
You go ahead.
Because you said they wanted to call it the East of the Red Rec Center.
No, East of the Red Recplex.
Yeah, so how about this? How about we just go with the Transcona Recplex? And I'll tell you why. Because it is what it is. It's like, let's keep it simple. And
Yeah,
I'll give you another
no
example.
one's going to call it that.
No. They're
Some
not.
names just miss, and that one, all
Yeah.
due respect, it just doesn't. It doesn't roll off the tongue.
I'll give you another one. The Hockey for All Center. Okay, it was the Iceplex when it was built, and to 98% of Manitoba, it's still the Iceplex. You can call it whatever you want because there's a sponsor on there, and I get it. But nobody in my neighborhood, which is 5 minutes away from there, is calling it the Hockey for All Center. No one is going to call it whatever east of the red. Like, we don't need to get clever sometimes. It's just Transcona Rex. Everybody will know where it is.
I thought, honestly, if I didn't know about this and somebody said, hey, I'm just heading to east of the red rec plan, I'd be like, are you giving me compass directions?
Yes.
Like, what? East of the Red River? Like,
well, that covers a lot of ground east of the red. So let's just call it what it is.
So this text message, hey, Philly, you might remember this. I was a part of the lovely Transcona Water Park. It was me and my friends who tarped the back of a truck bed and filled it with water floaties and beer. We had a sign that said, you honk, we drink. It was called the Transcona Water Park. We even made the lovely Transcona Facebook page.
There you go.
It was back in 2018. Wow. Now that's a story. Fantastic.
Amazing.
Philly, Joe, Kirby.
Philly, Joe, and Kirby.
Podcast.
The Philly, Joe, and Kirby podcast.
There's the sound of a toaster. See, we don't spare any production expense around here. When we're going to talk toasters, we find the sound effects of a toaster. And listen, for the life of me, I thought that I was turning up the temperature on my toaster. For all these years that I've been using a toaster, I've never actually looked at the damn thing to see what I'm doing. There's a couple knobs on there. I get like, and if you put it on bagel mode, does that turn up the temperature of the toaster? I don't know. Apparently,
I always thought that you had to have a bagel. Like, you can't use the bagel mode unless you have a bagel. You can't put a piece of toast in there and put it on bagel mode.
because the toaster will have a sensor that knows.
Well, I don't know. I've never tried.
My toaster has a number system: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, so the dial just is the intensity of how it toasts the bread. Like 1 would be the lightest. Like 1, you might as well not even put the toast in the toaster. So you know what I'm saying?
These people are saying, like on the text line, PJK Nation is saying that is the amount of time that your toaster will toast the bread.
It's a timer.
It's
not
a timer,
a thermostat,
not a temperature.
Right.
But I always thought when I crank this up, I'm turning the toaster up so that it toasts faster.
It doesn't get hotter.
No.
It just stays in longer. So it's the timer. In all these years, you thought you were dealing with a temperature gauge. And meanwhile, it's just a timer.
Just turning it up.
You're so impatient. You thought that you're trying to burn your toast. Meanwhile, it's cranked to 5 minutes, but it's not cooking faster.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
Hey, you learned something new today on the program, my friend.
And the best.
You'll never look at your toaster again the same way. You know that.
No, I know. And the best part is I was kind of not arguing, but just going back and forth with a couple of people here about because a few people are correcting me, and somebody said, because I was like, I'm pretty sure I have a temperature button on my toaster. That was my response, and the one guy goes, I guess you got a fancy toaster there east of the red.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, there'd be a lot more calls to the fire department if we went with your system, a toaster.
Temperature.
Well, because, the intensity, like these things would just blow up.
I guess it makes sense.
Gosh, you guys. Kate, so bagel mode apparently only heats one side.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, because if you've ever used a regular mode for a bagel, you take that thing out and you're going to burn your fingertips.
Yes.
Okay, well, some toasters, fancy toasters, have the frozen mode, too.
Yes.
So I assume that's just longer as well?
Well, it thaws, right? Like it helps with the thaw before, I guess, it really starts toasting.
I know you're not supposed to stick a knife in the toaster, but
No,
I do sometimes.
don't do that.
I
Kirby.
do. I live life on the edge.
Because you can't reach the toast?
Well, I'm always strategic on where I get the toast from, because my nails, I don't want to burn my nails off. So then I use a knife and I stick it right in the middle of the piece of the toast.
Well, that makes sense.
And then take it out from there.
Why not worry about your nails, but instead of electrocuting yourself? What a priority.
The Philly, Joe, and Kirby podcast.
So Kirby had to crawl through the passenger door today due to some parking lot at your apartment building problems. Due to the snow, you figure all the cars are too close together, so you couldn't get in through your driver's side door. It was
No,
too tight.
yeah, like there was like no room to even open my door. I could barely fit in. Like I wasn't even going to try to get in. So I think it's like a progression of like they didn't do snow clearing in my apartment parking lot recently, so like it's all packed down and like there's no way to tell
No
where you're actually
lines.
parking, and so all it takes is one person to kind of park, and then all of a sudden there's not enough room.
Chain reaction. Yeah, you're seeing it in malls. You're seeing it in store parking lots, and obviously apartment.
At work, you should
yeah.
see me looking for a yellow line when I because
Yeah.
I get here first. So I've got to set I'm like the pace car. I'm the first person in our parking lot. So I'll get out and look for a yellow line so that I know basically that I'm setting the pace properly, that I'm within a couple of yellow lines. And it's hard to see with all the snow.
Not a lot of pressure here, though, because there's a ton of parking right in front and behind the building. But you do a hell of a job because you are the first one here. I usually get here second, and I try and model myself after my buddy Phil. But when you're in an apartment, it's tight enough sometimes to squeeze, right? And if one person is off, it can turn the whole row. Mm-hmm. And our friend Kirby had to pull something out of one of those cop flicks where he had to come in through the passenger side.
I felt like a Cirque du Soleil performer, honestly, because like I'm wearing leather pants today. I get in the passenger seat. I got this big console in the middle of my SUV, so I'm like trying to get my one leg over it.
If I saw that, I'd call the cops. I would have called the cops because I would have assumed you were breaking in. What the hell is this lady doing?
The assailant is wearing a crop top and leather pants. It looks like she's breaking into the vehicle. But listen, think about this. That move would have been so much easier when you were like 18 years old in your
100%.
parents' car. And now it's like, oh my God. Snap.
I've already booked a massage to deal with this because I could tell my back's gonna be out.
I can't wait for the Crime Stoppers reenactment.
Oh yeah.
You guys talked me down though. I was gonna complain to my landlord about it, and you said, Curbs, it's really not the person next to you's fault if everybody is parking.
Well, do you have an assigned parking spot? Okay, so you know the person parking next to you anyway.
Yeah.
So the thing is, if this is the first time it's happened, it has a lot to do with
it's
obviously
happening
the
a lot
snow
this
situation.
week.
Yeah, but is it the snow or is it this person being a bit douchey, right? That's what you got to figure out before you start going.
I'm on the case.
Probably the snow, probably the inability to see the yellow lines.
I think so.
It took us It took us a couple hours to convince you not to call the landlord because we're like, and plus we're getting 5 centimeters of snow-ish today, so you're not getting that cleared today. I mean, the landlord's not going to go, oh, my God, it's a Kirby phone. I better get that parking lot cleared.
He listens to the show. He's already heard.
That's true.
Yeah. He's still working on the whole hallway situation
You
with
and your
the
welcome
doormat.
mat. You get so many people over there.
For more Philly, Joe, and Kirby, lock it into 92.1 City weekday mornings 6 to 10.